Hi kids, and welcome to Disney Animation Reviews. I'm Josiah Milky, and today we have a bright spot in our Disney Animated Features canon. But first, a little history. After Dinosaur came out, in 2000, Disneyland celebrated its 45th anniversary. We had some live-action Disney films in the later half of 2000, like Remember the Titans, starring Denzel Washington, and 102 Dalmatians, the sequel to the live-action 101 Dalmatians, featuring Glenn Close returning as Cruella de Vil. We had some animated Disney TV shows like Teacher's Pet, and there were a couple of direct-to-video releases from Disney Toon Studios. The 2D animated Toy Story spin-off movie Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, The Adventure Begins, which ultimately led to the Buzz Lightyear of Star Command TV series, Saturday mornings on ABC for a few months. And the direct-to-video Little Mermaid sequel, The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. The subject of today's review is what came out at the end of 2000. Disney's 40th animated feature film, The Emperor's New Groove. Emperor's New Groove has quite a bit of a story to it. The original idea was developed in 1994 as Kingdom of the Sun, or Kingdom Under the Sun, and was going to be directed by Roger Allers, who had directed The Lion King, and eventually they got former Disney effects animator Mark Dindal as a co-director. Mark had just come off of directing Warner Brothers and Turner Feature Animation's 1997 box office flop, Cats Don't Dance. The original Kingdom of the Sun idea was about a selfish emperor, voiced by David Spade, who trades places with a peasant that looks just like him, voiced by Owen Wilson, who eventually starred as the voice of Lightning McQueen in Pixar's Cars films. The idea of the prince and the peasant switching places makes it kind of like Mark Twain's The Prince and the Pauper. However, the Emperor's advisor, Yzma, voiced by Eartha Kitt, was going to summon Soupy, the god of darkness, to destroy the sun, because it gave her wrinkles, and she figured living in a world of darkness would keep her young forever. When she discovered the switcheroo, she turned the real emperor into a llama and forced the peasant to do whatever she said so she wouldn't kill him. Both the peasant and the emperor llama fall in love, and the emperor learns to treat others the way he wants to be treated, and he and the peasant have to work together to stop Yzma's plan. Yzma would have also had a tiny sidekick called the Huaca, who makes a cameo in the movie, but originally was her sidekick, voiced by Harvey Fierstein, who was also in Mulan. After several years, about 3 years in production, by 1997, they ultimately decided the film wasn't working. They had the voice cast, they had the directors, and they had songwriter Sting, in the wake of Elton John on The Lion King, to write a bunch of songs for the film. But they ultimately decided it wasn't working, and Roger Allers ultimately left the project, which left Mark in charge, and they basically redid the whole thing. Mark Dindal remained on board as director. Randy Fulmer joined the film as producer. He had been artistic coordinator on The Lion King. And they still had David Spade and Eartha Kitt doing voices, but Owen Wilson, Harvey Fierstein, and some other actors were taken out of the film and were replaced. And pretty much all of Sting's songs from the original version were cut, but they did manage to convince him to stay on board to write the two songs you do hear on the film, the one at the beginning and the one at the end. Ultimately, the film got its rename, The Emperor's New Groove, and was released to theaters just in time for Christmas 2000. It got really good reviews, but unfortunately, it struggled at the box office, only making about 89% of its budget in America and 80% of its budget overseas, which makes it much lower than the animated Disney feature films from the Renaissance era. But it's actually a pretty good film. I agree with the reviews. It's a very good film, and it's a very funny film. As the box has stated, it's right around the comedic sidelines of Aladdin. And it's actually one of my mom's favorite animated feature films of all time, because it's just so darn funny. I kind of like it myself, so here's my thoughts on The Emperor's New Groove. The star of the movie is a selfish emperor, Emperor Cusco, voiced by David Spade, who had been around since the beginning of the film, when it was Kingdom of the Sun. He has plans to destroy an entire peasant village just so he can build his own summer getaway, Cusco-topia. Meanwhile, his evil advisor, Yzma, voiced by Eartha Kitt, who had also been around since the film had started, she's recently been fired by Cusco as royal advisor for trying to run the country behind Cusco's back, so she teams up with her hunky henchman, Kronk, voiced by Patrick Warburton, to poison the emperor. But they end up accidentally turning him into a llama instead. Kronk tries to get rid of the llama-turned-emperor, but ends up losing him to a peasant named Pacha, voiced by John Goodman, whose family has lived on the same hilltop for generations, the hilltop where Cusco wants to build Cusco-topia. Despite odds and ends, the Emperor and Pacha reluctantly agree to team up to get Cusco back to the palace, with Pacha hoping he can change Cusco's mind and have him build his summer home on a different hilltop. So we basically get the classic mismatched buddy road trip comedy movie with Cusco and Pacha trying to get back to the palace so Cusco can become human again, while Yzma and Kronk try to find Cusco and kill him once and for all. As I've said, this movie is very comedic. Lots of funny bits, like Kronk's shoulder angel and devil, popping up whenever Kronk has a moral dilemma. Cusco's dialogue, like boom baby and that sort of thing. Bucky the Squirrel is pretty funny. The diner talk when Kronk ends up having to fill in as a chef at a restaurant that Cusco and Pacha stop at. Lots of little funny bits like that make this film comedic. Unlike other Disney films, however, a lot of key elements are lost. The only songs we get are the beginning song and the end song, both written by Sting. One of them, which is the Cusco's theme song, Perfect World, sung at the beginning and end of the film by rock and roll legend Tom Jones, and the end credits song, My Funny Friend and Me, written and performed by Sting. Those are the only two songs in the movie. My Funny Friend and Me got this film an Academy Award nomination for Best Original Song, but lost to Bob Dylan's Things Have Changed from a movie I've never seen before called Wonder Boys. Other than that, it's not a musical. There's no romance in the movie. Cusco doesn't have a love interest, although Pacha is married. He has a loving wife, Chicha, voiced by Wendy Malick, and 2 kids with a third one on the way, which actually makes Chicha the first pregnant woman on screen in an animated Disney feature film. Talk about a change in body image. Anyway, fantastic voice cast. Everybody does a good job. David Spade as Cusco, very funny. Even when he's being selfish, he still winds up comedic. John Goodman as Pacha, very humble, very sweet. He's just the typical good guy. Goodman later for Pixar did the voice of Sully in the Monsters Incorporated films. The late Eartha Kitt as Yzma, fantastic. I could see her playing Yzma in a stage play of the film. Actually, it's really the villains that steal the show, with Eartha Kitt as Yzma, and the always funny Patrick Warburton as Kronk. Patrick Warburton's like one of my comedy heroes. If nothing else, you should definitely watch The Emperor's New Groove for those two. The Emperor's New Groove, as I said earlier, is directed by Mark Dindal and produced by Randy Fulmer. Mark had directing experience before on Cats Don't Dance, which wasn't Disney, but this was Randy's first time producing something for Disney. I feel kind of bad for Sting that so many songs he wrote for the film never made it into the film, although some of them appear as bonus tracks on the soundtrack, along with the 2 songs he did contribute to the film, Perfect World and My Funny Friend and Me. One of the songs from the deleted version is Yzma's song Snuff Out the Light, which is actually a really good villain song, and a dance number called Walk the Llama Llama by Rascal Flatts, who eventually did the song Live as a Highway for the first Cars movie. While Emperor's New Groove's box office reception wasn't perfect, its reviews show that this movie is definitely worth watching. My mom likes it, my whole family likes it, definitely give The Emperor's New Groove a watch through. Even though its box office success was nothing to write home about, Emperor's New Groove was good enough to start a franchise. A direct-to-video sequel, Kronk's New Groove, came out 5 years later, just in time for Christmas 2005. Hence the title, Kronk's the star this time. trying to impress his father, voiced by John Mahoney, who never approved of Kronk's cooking skills. So Kronk sets out to impress him, and along the way finds a little love in a fellow Camp Scout leader, voiced by Tracy Ullman. All the main voice cast is back. Animation's pretty good. A little lower than the first movie, but not terrible. I saw this movie with my family. We checked it out when I was 10 or 11, and I think I remember enjoying the sequel as a kid. Most of Disney's direct-to-video sequels were probably veering more toward little kids, but this one's pretty good. TV series, The Emperor's New School, premiered on ABC Saturday mornings and Disney Channel weekdays a month later at the start of 2006, focusing on Kuzco having to graduate from high school if he wants to remain emperor. And of course, Yzma and Kronk are back to make sure he fails. Eartha Kitt, Patrick Warburton, and Wendy Malick reprised their roles in the movie. John Goodman only reprised his role as Pacha for the second season. The show only had 2 seasons, and only lasted like 2 or 3 years. Kuzco does have a new girlfriend, Melina, who's head of the cheer squad. I've seen a couple episodes of the show. It's pretty good. Emperor's New Groove's latest home video release was its 2-movie collection Blu-ray release in the summer of 2013 with Kronk's New Groove. The disappointing thing is that aside from previews for other Disney projects at that time, the Blu-ray disc doesn't have any bonus features, it just has the 2 movies. Luckily, the Blu-ray is also a combo pack that includes the 2005 DVD copies, the New Groove Edition DVD release of the first movie, and the original release of the sequel. Bonus features on the original include deleted scenes, audio commentary, a few behind-the-scenes features, a game hosted by Yzma and Kronk, and a few music videos from Stain, for My Funny Friend and Me, and Rascal Flatts for Walk the Llama Llama. And Kronk's New Groove on DVD includes Kronk's Brain Game, the Pyramid Scheme game hosted by Emperor Kuzco, and a behind-the-scenes look at the making of the sequel with the directors of the sequel, Elliot Bohr and Saul Blankoff, and the voice of Kronk, Patrick Warburton. So that's my thoughts on The Emperor's New Groove. I wouldn't say I like it better than Aladdin or Hercules, which are also really, really funny entries in the canon, but Emperor's New Groove is definitely one worth watching if you're looking for something that's a little different, with the fact that the main protagonist becomes a llama and learns not to be so selfish. That, some great voice talent, some pretty good songs by Stain, and the comedic routines, or comedic elements, give this one a shot. I think you'll like it. Well, we're out of time for today. Remember, when you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. Goodbye!